So, how much longer do you plan to reside with your parents? You're not getting any younger, and it's starting to become a bit uncomfortable for the family.
Alexia, we've had this discussion before. I'm not just idling around. I work remotely from home, doing online work.
Remote work? Seriously? That's your usual excuse. But let's be honest, you often appear like you just rolled out of bed. Are you sure you're not secretly gaming all day and using remote work as a cover? You can be honest with us.
I assure you, I'm not gaming as much as you might think. I'm genuinely working, and my job is quite demanding. Yes, sometimes I may not look perfectly put together, but it doesn't affect my work quality, especially since we rarely have video calls.
What's with those glasses? Seriously? Did you buy them from a dollar store? They certainly look like it. If you were really working for a respectable company, you'd probably wear nicer ones.
Why does it matter? They serve their purpose. They're not dollar store glasses, but I don't need fancy ones for remote work. It's not about fashion. It's about functionality, especially since I work from home.
Well, without concrete proof, it's hard to know if you're genuinely working or just taking advantage. You could show me some of your work, but you might fake that too. I've made up my mind. You fit the image of a slacker perfectly, right down to your unkempt appearance and morning slippers.
Well, if that's what you think, there's not much I can do to change your mind. As long as I can cover my expenses and take care of myself, I'm content. But what about you, Alexia? You left your job, right? What have you been up to since then? From what I've heard, it's a lot of online shopping and spending time with friends.
Since leaving my job, I've been focused on preparing for married life. Unlike you, I found someone special. Your brother and I make a great couple, and he's committed to supporting me.
So, your plan is to become a stay-at-home wife? You don't want to work anymore? Frankly, I think that's a risky choice, especially considering who you married.
What do you mean? Arthur, I wouldn't speak ill of my own brother. Arthur is a responsible individual. He has a good job and is making something of himself. Maybe you should get out more and catch some sun. It might lift your spirits, or is your home just too cozy to leave?
It's not jealousy. It's about responsibility. Arthur has a history of job troubles, and there's a chance it might happen again. He struggles with meeting deadlines and handling customer information. He claims it's too complex. Can we rely on someone like that?
Are you envious because he has a stable job? Unlike you, he's making strides in his career. If I were in your shoes, I might feel a bit envious too.
I'm not envious. But hey, Alexia, what do you know about working anyway? Do you have much work experience?
Don't you remember when we first met? I shared my career background. I worked in customer service and for a food and beverage company. Now, I'm happily married and don't need to work.
Oh, right. I remember now. Was it in a shoe store? I never bought shoes from there. It's quite budget-friendly, you know?
I only worked there briefly. I also worked in guest services at the information desk. It was a stable job, and I managed to save a lot of money. But that's not the point. What I'm trying to say is your current situation isn't ideal for your family. You're nearly 41 and still living with your parents. Have you ever considered how unusual that is?
If I moved out, it would be challenging for them. I'm here to support and take care of them.
Well, they might not want a person with messy hair taking up space in their house. Honestly, Kara, you're a burden to them. It might be easier if you gave them some space.
I doubt I can change your perspective on this. Anyway, I'm going on a trip tomorrow.
Oh, really? How long will you be gone?
If you can help out at the house while I'm away, I'd appreciate it.
I'll handle it. The family might enjoy having me take care of things for a change.
Great, Alexia.
2 weeks later.
Hey, Alexia. I'm back at the house. Where is everyone? It's completely empty in here.
You're back from your trip already? You must have been surprised to find this big old house completely empty, huh?
Well, it does make sense that not everyone's here. But where's all our stuff? Everything's disappeared. Since you were supposed to look after the house, I thought you might know what's going on.
I bet you're pretty shocked, right? Like, what's someone without a job like you going to do when the family supporting them suddenly disappears?
Could you please update me on the current situation? Did you have any involvement in my family's disappearance?
Yes, that's correct. I suspected you might have had your eyes on their retirement funds, so I took matters into my own hands. Believe me, Kara, you'll appreciate this in the long run. You can't keep living like this.
What on earth are you talking about, Alexia? This is absolutely absurd. Your actions are way out of line.
No need to feign ignorance. I know what's going on, and I won't hesitate to confront you about it.
Why are you suddenly fixated on my parents' retirement money? Do you think I'm taking advantage of them by staying at their house?
Just accept it. Your free ride has come to an end. I'm tired of watching you leech off your parents.
Can you at least hear me out? You've completely misunderstood the situation. So, what's your plan now?
Well, while you were away, I took it upon myself to relocate your family. Hopefully, this will encourage you to stand on your own 2 feet.
You did what?
I moved your family, Kara. I hope you can find your own path, as I really don't want to see you anymore.
All right, did my parents consent to this? Were they truly fine with leaving without any say in the matter?
Are you kidding? They were ecstatic about it. Now that you're out of the picture, I'll be taking care of them. I've got it under control.
Oh, really? Well, thank you then. I suppose I have nothing left to do here. You can just leave me be.
Yep, that's pretty much it. Please don't reach out to me anymore.
All right then. Goodbye.
4 weeks later.
Hey, sis. It's been a while. How have you been? By the way, we're thinking about moving back into the old family home. The idea of living together again, isn't that intriguing?
Who are you?
It's Alexia. You don't even recognize your own sister-in-law? How forgetful.
About a month ago, you explicitly told me never to contact you again. What's with this sudden change?
Well, we are family after all, so perhaps cutting off contact was a bit impulsive on my part. Anyway, I wanted to let you know that we're planning to move back into the house. It was a tough decision, but I believe it's best for the family.
I'm sorry, but that's not possible. After you relocated my family, I legally became the owner of the house. I was the one handling the bills, and I managed to keep them paid. However, after careful consideration, I decided to list the house for sale, and it's already been sold. Well, it turns out the house is no longer available. Even if it hadn't been sold, I wouldn't have agreed to it.
Why on earth would you do that? Are you out of your mind? You have no right to make that decision. That house belongs to our family.
Besides, the house originally belonged to my family for many years. You don't have a say in this, Alexia. It was too large for just one person, and the upkeep and maintenance were incredibly challenging. So, I made the decision to sell it.
You sold the house? Okay, then where are you living now? Could we all live together as a family again?
Why would I share that information with you, considering your recent feelings towards me? What's the real reason behind all this sudden interest?
I need to be honest with you, sis. We're struggling to pay the rent where we're staying.
Struggling with rent? What's the cause of this financial difficulty?
It's because of your parents.
My parents? What are you talking about?
Don't act like you're unaware. You know how they can be. Your mom keeps buying unnecessary items from shopping channels, and these bills arrive almost every week. And your dad? He's been going to the casino frequently, spending days there. I tried to limit his visits to once a month, but he doesn't listen.
They can certainly be quite a handful, can't they? That's why I appreciated it when you decided to take care of them. You're doing me a favor, sis.
Stop kidding around. This is a serious matter. How did things get so out of control? And how did you manage to afford the house?
I was the one covering the house expenses. While my parents were living there, I handled most of the financial responsibilities. Without my contributions, they would never have been able to keep the house. Like you said, they can be irresponsible with money.
What? It doesn't make sense.
You really haven't been listening, have you? As I mentioned before, I have a remote job with a company, and I'm in a managerial position.
What? So you've been the one footing the bills all this time?
Yes, that's how we managed to hold on to the house, as I explained earlier.
I understand now, Kara. That must have been incredibly challenging, balancing work and taking care of our parents. I can't even imagine.
You've changed so much. By the way, how is my brother? I haven't spoken to him in ages.
It appears the company he joined isn't the most reliable. They even withheld 1 month's pay due to attendance issues. How are we supposed to get by without a full month's worth of his salary?
You seem rather oblivious, don't you? Arthur frequently skips work to visit the pier. He seems to have inherited our father's penchant for that place. There are numerous sports gambling bookies down there, and it's not the first time he's missed work because of it. I wouldn't be surprised if his gambling is the reason he lost his current job as well.
What? He should have confided in me about this. He's my husband and we're supposed to share everything. Tell me the truth, Kara. What's really happening here?
He's probably just too ashamed to discuss these matters with you. As for his current job, I'm not entirely sure. But I wouldn't be shocked if he's merely pretending to go to work each morning.
This is unbelievable, Kara. If what you're saying is true, how can I ever trust him again? He even told me he was working for a reputable company and claimed to be one of their top earners.
No, that's not the case at all. I'm fairly certain he had a temporary job for a few months, but they didn't retain him. They cited a lack of experience as the reason.
A temporary job? Seriously? Wait, if he's currently unemployed, does that mean none of us in the household have jobs?
It does seem that way, doesn't it? It turns out my family members are the ones struggling to maintain employment, not me. They tend to spend money recklessly.
You knew about this all along, didn't you? You should have informed me sooner. If I had known, I could have taken steps to address the situation. What's really going on, Kara?
When I was living with them, I tried to help. I even arranged counseling for my parents and encouraged them to join support groups for their addiction issues. I remember inviting you a few times, but you always claimed to be too busy, so we never really discussed it. It seemed like you always had a problem with me, and our communication was quite limited.
Yes, you did invite me, but I had other responsibilities to attend to.
Oh, really? Then why was the house often messy when we returned? If I recall correctly, you were watching TV in your pajamas.
That was just one time. I usually kept the house in perfect order. I managed things quite efficiently. Kara?
I must respectfully disagree with you on this matter. It was my mom and me who ended up shouldering the majority of the cleaning duties, just as you had requested. Your contribution was rather minimal.
I had recently quit my job, perhaps seeking some well-deserved leisure time, all right?
It would be beneficial if you viewed the situation objectively, Alexia. You entered our home, relied on us for support, and look where it has led you. It's not an ideal situation, is it?
Fine. Whatever. I admit it was a lapse in judgment on my part. I understand. But we need to address this, sis. You wouldn't turn your back on family, would you?
Well, considering I felt abandoned myself, it's somewhat ironic, isn't it? Let me ask you a straightforward question. Did you genuinely believe that my brother alone could financially support our entire family? Or did you intend to return to your previous job at the mall to cover our expenses?
Well, given the circumstances, it seems I may have to return to that job. Yes, that's right. As long as I have that job, we should manage.
Really? You know what's intriguing? I had a friend who worked at that mall. They were close with the guest services manager.
Yeah? What did they say?
Well, they mentioned that you were often on your phone, even when there were customers around. They were actually relieved when you left. That's what they told me, at least. but I suppose they might consider rehiring you. It's worth a shot.
This isn't how I envisioned my life going. I thought I'd be a stay-at-home wife, then have kids and move to a nice neighborhood.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Kara, please help me. You're the only one I can turn to right now. Your family is too much for me to handle.
Sorry, it's up to you now.
Don't abandon me, remember? We're family.
Again, you were the one who left me in the first place. There's not much I can do now. You've got to admit, it's ironic how things have turned out. A person who despises laziness now finds herself surrounded by nothing but people like that. You brought this upon yourself, Alexia. Deal with it and see if I care.
Afterwards,
After some time, Alexia uncovered the truth about her husband's significant gambling debt, as well as his father's similar financial issues. His mother also had accrued substantial credit card debt due to unchecked online shopping. Alexia found herself at a crossroads. She attempted to rejoin her previous workplace, but it appeared they were not keen on rehiring her due to her prior unfavorable impression. Later, she secured a job as a waitress at a local restaurant. It was a bustling establishment, and the work was demanding, with just enough income to make ends meet. However, she had no other viable options. As for me, I continued to nurture my online business and eventually purchased a lovely house. It was a great relief to distance myself from the troublesome family and my irksome sister-in-law. Thank you for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and hitting the subscribe button below.
Will you be attending my wedding, perhaps?
Yes, since you invited me, I assumed you'd like me to be there. If not, you wouldn't have sent the invitation. Is there a reason you don't want me at your wedding?
Actually, I have reservations about your presence. The invitation was sent at my mother's insistence. And please, I hope your husband won't be accompanying you.
His name was on the invitation, and he plans to join me. Luckily, he's available that day.
Well, I'd rather neither of you attend my wedding.
Why is that?
Firstly, your husband makes me uncomfortable.
Why say that? It's rather impolite. Moreover, what has he done to deserve such comments from you?
Nothing but his single real arm disturbs me.
Yes, Arthur has a prosthetic arm. So what? It hasn't negatively impacted you in any way.
I just find it unsettling. I don't want someone like Arthur at my wedding. What will the other guests think?
Do you realize how discriminatory you sound? Speaking ill of others is unjustified. Arthur is my husband. It upsets me that you'd criticize him right in front of me.
I can't express my feelings about him. It's my wedding, and I have the right to choose my guests. I'm sorry, but someone with a prosthetic arm isn't welcome.
It's not Arthur's fault. Remember, he's my husband. I can tolerate your remarks about me, but not about him. Enough. What makes you so self-righteous? I love Arthur, and I won't stand for anyone bad-mouthing him.
How can you love Arthur? His one working arm doesn't bother you? He's not typical. Why did you marry someone with a disability? Perhaps regular guys weren't interested in you.
Arthur is like any other man. Why are you judging him based on his arm? Can we please discuss something else? I don't want to continue this conversation. You need to mature for your fiancé's sake as well. You're 32 years old. Some feelings are better kept to yourself.
I prefer to be candid and open about my emotions.
I suppose we'll just have to respectfully disagree then. If you don't want Arthur to attend your wedding, we won't insist. Are you satisfied now?
Yes, that's my preference. Please don't discuss this with Mom, though. I'd rather avoid unnecessary drama. Truthfully, having you at my wedding would be fine, but I'd rather Arthur not be there.
I don't understand why Arthur should be penalized for something beyond his control. It bothers me that you're treating him this way.
It's my wedding day, and I should have the freedom to decide who's present and who isn't. I'm thrilled that my fiancé is successful with both arms intact. He holds a significant position in a well-respected company and earns a substantial income. He's currently managing a multi-million-dollar project, and I'm incredibly proud of his accomplishments.
I'm happy that you found happiness. While he's working on a significant project, he won't necessarily receive all the credit. After all, he's an employee.
Stop. You're just envious that I'm marrying such an exceptional man. I understand why you might feel that way, but don't direct it at me.
I don't mind taking out my feelings on you. I'm simply tired of hearing your boasts.
Our wedding will be flawless. Just wait and see. We both look stunning, and my fiancé is financially successful. We're a remarkable couple, and our guests should match that standard.
Remarkable couple? Are you joking? You're only a temp at your company.
That's irrelevant because I found the perfect husband.
Fine, have it your way. I won't bring it up again.
One thing is certain, my fiancé is superior to Arthur, considering he has both arms.
Why the need to compare them? They're different individuals. Do you find pleasure in belittling Arthur?
I believe you and Arthur are an ideal match.
Yes, we are, but not in the way you're insinuating. I'm content with my marriage to Arthur. I don't see any superiority on your part.
Believe whatever you'd like. I know the truth.
I suppose our perspectives differ. I'll attempt to make it to your wedding if possible. I'll inform you once I've decided. If my presence is undesirable, I'm content not attending as well.
I've already made my decision. You can come, but Arthur is not invited.
Well, if Arthur isn't welcome, then count me out as well. Have a wonderful wedding, Elise.
The day of the wedding.
Why are you here at my wedding? You clearly stated you wouldn't come and you brought him along. How could you do this to me?
It's more accurate to ask how you could do this to Arthur. I know you dislike him, but did you truly have to pour wine on his head? What were you thinking? Your actions are inexcusable.
Well, you ignored my wishes, so the anger should be mine, not yours.
What on earth is going on with you, Elise?
I explicitly told you not to bring your husband with a disability to my wedding. How many times must I repeat myself? You clearly told me that Arthur wouldn't be at my wedding. Why the sudden change of heart? You did the one thing I explicitly asked you not to. You brought Arthur. Did you intend to sabotage my wedding?
I didn't do anything. You're the one who caused a scene by pouring wine on Arthur.
So, you're placing blame on me now?
You're the one who ejected us from your wedding, even though we did nothing wrong. You should feel ashamed about this whole situation. I told you I wouldn't attend your wedding, but Arthur was invited as one of the groom's guests, and I accompanied him as his wife.
You're not making any sense. Why would Arthur be invited as one of the groom's guests? I'm certain he simply wanted to be part of the celebration, so he must have misled you about receiving an invitation from my fiancé. Who does that? Well, he shouldn't have come. He didn't belong there.
You're truly unbelievable, Elise, and extremely rude. I'm ashamed to call you my sister.
I could say the same right back at you. Why did you even marry Arthur? Doesn't his prosthetic arm bother you? I don't want to see either of you at the wedding reception anymore.
Are you absolutely certain this is what you want?
Yes, I'm sure. Please leave now.
Very well, we'll departing. I hope this outcome brings you happiness. However, let me clarify, Arthur is a CEO and a significant client of your husband.
What?
Yet, I suppose this detail doesn't concern you. Your husband will have to manage the aftermath. Your primary focus is evidently your flawless wedding. Enjoy the remainder of your celebration. Farewell, we're leaving now. I'm also severing all ties with you. Please refrain from contacting me in the future.
40 minutes later.
Where are you now? Are you still nearby? I need to talk to you. Can we meet?
I've left and I'm back home.
How did you manage to get home so quickly?
I was eager to depart after you threw wine at Arthur and I requested you not to reach out. I no longer consider myself your sister.
I understand your anger, but I still need to discuss something with you. Were you serious about Arthur being one of my husband's clients? My husband is deeply troubled because he believes Arthur no longer wants to do business with him. He's anxious that a significant project might be canceled as a result.
Well, your husband's concerns are valid. Arthur attended your wedding only because your husband extended an invitation, but then you confronted him and poured wine on him. Arthur has every right to be upset. It's understandable that Arthur would choose to terminate business relations with your husband. After the way you treated him, we have no desire to be associated with you.
Is this amusing to you? I'm facing a serious predicament here. My husband is in distress, and I don't know how to calm him down. Moreover, he seems to have lost interest in our wedding reception.
I see. That's unfortunate for you.
You're my sister. Shouldn't you be more concerned?
Given your treatment of Arthur, I no longer regard us as sisters. Remember, I've cut all ties with you.
That's not the issue at hand. I'm in dire straits, and I need your assistance. My husband is aware of the incident involving Arthur.
I'm not surprised by that revelation.
Now the project has been canceled as well.
I'm sure that your husband.
He certainly is. He's indicating that he might seek an annulment, and it seems the wedding reception might be canceled too.
You should have anticipated this outcome. Treating Arthur rudely was a grave mistake.
Missed call. Missed call. Can you please answer my call?
Why should I? I have no desire to communicate with you. Remember, you're not supposed to contact me anymore.
I'm in need of your assistance. Please help me rectify this situation. I'd like to discuss this over the phone.
Well, I won't, and I don't intend to assist you. You'll need to resolve this on your own. I explicitly asked you to treat Arthur with respect, but you disregarded that. This is entirely your responsibility. I hope this serves as a valuable lesson. You must mature and take accountability for your actions.
I had no idea Arthur was a client of my husband. A simple heads up from you would have helped. I merely requested Arthur not to attend my wedding. I don't believe I've done anything wrong.
If you genuinely believe you're blameless, perhaps this will blow over. However, I can't forgive your discriminatory comments about Arthur. You're on your own. I must go now. Goodbye.
The wedding has been canceled. What am I supposed to do now? I need you to assist me. Your failure to inform me about Arthur being an important client of my husband contributed to this.
How can you possibly blame me? This is entirely your doing. Your failure to recognize that paints you as foolish.
What did you just call me?
I simply attended my sister's wedding. I've done nothing wrong. You're the one who intentionally spilled wine on Arthur and had us removed. Now, you must face the consequences of your actions. It's time for you to mature, Elise. This experience should teach you that bad-mouthing others comes back to haunt you. Hopefully, you'll remember this and cease making such foolish mistakes.
Right now, my top priority is salvaging my marriage. I've quit my job, and without my husband, I'll have nowhere to go. What should I do now?
That's not my concern, but it's likely neither your husband nor other family members will support you.
How can you be so heartless? Don't you care about my future? Please talk to Arthur and offer an apology on my behalf. I wasn't aware he was a client of my husband's.
Why on earth would I do that? I stand by Arthur's side, and he has every right to be upset. What you did is unforgivable.
You're my sister, a part of our family. Doesn't that hold any significance to you?
I've severed ties with you, so the family connection is no longer there. Please refrain from contacting me or Arthur. Maybe you should discuss this with our parents.
So, you're just going to abandon me?
I'm not abandoning you.
I've resigned from my job. What if my husband leaves me? This isn't my fault. You should have informed me about Arthur's situation. I don't deserve this treatment.
Arthur has a disability that he doesn't wish to be reminded of or mocked for, especially by you. But you laughed at him and spilled wine on him. Arthur doesn't exploit his disability for special treatment. He's worked hard. Far more than the average person. Disrespecting him was entirely uncalled for. Your actions were deeply wrong. You're going to face the consequences for your actions, and rightfully so. I apologize for my behavior towards Arthur. It took me a while to realize my mistake. So, you're acknowledging your wrongdoing? It's about time. Do you grasp how long it took for you to admit fault and understand the gravity of this situation?
Yes, and am profoundly sorry. Will you please speak to Arthur now?
If you truly regret your actions, you wouldn't be seeking favors from me. The project is canceled, and there's no changing that. It's time to move forward. Instead of fixating on your failed marriage, focus on finding a new job.
Why did I even bother apologizing if you won't offer any assistance?
The need for an apology is justified. You committed a wrong. Your true nature is becoming evident, and it's unappealing. I have no more time to waste on you. Goodbye. You must be pleased that Arthur is no longer part of your wedding.
Afterward.
After blocking Elise, Madison never spoke to her sister again. Following Elise's mistreatment of Arthur, her husband left her. This revelation prompted Elise to relocate to a run-down apartment and search for new employment. During Elise's wedding, observers witnessed her disrespectful behavior towards Arthur and captured a comprehensive record of the incident. The footage, which depicted Elise pouring wine on Arthur, went viral after being shared on social media. Subsequently, job opportunities became scarce for Elise, leading her to endure a challenging lifestyle. Elise's derogatory actions towards Arthur's disability ultimately led to a series of unfortunate events. Had she displayed greater compassion, these repercussions might have been avoided. This situation has revealed Elise's true character, which is far from admirable. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.